Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here. Today, the 9-game NBA main slate here on Wednesday. A couple things before I get the video. It's great to be back. I was on about 4 or 5 day break there on vacation, but I'm ready to get back in the DFS grind. Also, if you're new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos talking about NBA DFS as well as NFL DFS on Draftkings. I'm also running a weekly giveaway on this channel. How it works is all you have to do is leave a like and a comment in the video. It's one entry in the giveaway. Max one comment per video. So it starts my Monday Night Showdown video that I uploaded last week. We'll go throughout this week onto the Monday Night Showdown video at the end of the week. So however many videos I've uploaded for the week and the giveaway that many times. So I have 10 videos uploaded for the week and end of the giveaway 10 times. And the winner receives $20 payable for myself. But yeah, I was not able to upload a Monday Night Showdown video a few days ago because I was still on vacation. So the week before and then going throughout this week, we'll count the giveaway at the end of the week that I'll give away, in the next Monday Night Showdown video. But yeah, again, winner receives $20 payable for myself. But with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So, I was not able to upload a video yesterday, but I did live stream. So let's go over my lineup here: Dinwiddie, Drew Holiday, Marcus Morris, Julius Randle, Dwight Howard, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, JaVale McGee. If you guys watched my live stream, you guys knew I was all about playing Dwight Howard and McGee. Both of them crushed their salaries, right? Dwight Howard is low owned, 30 fantasy points at I think it's 4K. And then JaVale McGee was 3.8K, 27 fantasy points. So hopefully you guys took that advice. A couple pretty tilting things here are the two Knicks guys I played with, Marcus Morris and Julius Randle. 31 for Morris, 34 for Randle, and they did not see the court in the fourth quarter because they blew out the Hawks. So that's a bit tilting, right? I think the spread is like a 2-point spread. Should have stayed close, but that's how DFS goes sometimes, right? If they get their fourth quarter run, I think Marcus Morris probably gets over 40. Randle probably gets close to 50, right? So got a bit unlucky there. The Nets-Pelicans game was super low scoring. Two of the worst defenses and two teams that played a fast pace. Again, that's variance with DFS. Sometimes that will happen. But Dinwiddie was still fine. Drew Holiday was fine. Lonzo Ball was okay. It was a close call for me with him and RJ Barrett. I went with Lonzo. Obviously Barrett was a bit better. He was someone I talked about that was going to be really chalky, right, for cash games, but there were pivots off of him. One of the guys was Lonzo Ball. I went with him. Ingram was okay, right? So these guys were all okay. The game, it did go into overtime too, so got a bit lucky there, but was super low scoring. And then again, yeah, the Knicks blowout was a bit tilting. But all in all, it's going to be a cashing night here for cash games, most likely. GPPs don't think I'm going to stay in the money, but should stay in the money here for cash games because not a lot of people played anyone in that late game. So that's basically it here for Tuesday's slate. So let's talk about Wednesday. Let me get to the right slate here. All right, so we can go over some. Let's go over the over-unders and the spreads that are out right now. Let's see. Okay, so 5 are out right now. We have Bulls Wizards sitting at 230.5. Looks like it's a pick'em right now. Heat 76ers 212. The 76ers favored by 7. Grizzlies OKC 219.5. The Thunder favored by 6.5 points. Celtics Mavs is at 218.5. The Celtics favored by 1.5. And then Warriors Trailblazers late night hammer here 219 with Portland favored by 9.5 points. So we will start with center today. And Karl-Anthony Towns at the top at 10.7 in a great spot, but currently listed as questionable. So this could change the entire complexity of the slate, right? If he gets ruled out, then would love Gorgie Jang and guys like Jordan Bell and Noah Vonleh would become viable, and it would just change everything. Like Jeff Teague and Wiggins would become great plays. So this literally, again, this injury would change the entire slate. If he gets ruled out, I would just load up on the Timberwolves. If he plays, I like Towns a good amount. I still like a couple other of the Timberwolves. Teague, Wiggins is okay, but yeah, again, this is something we will have to monitor going into tomorrow. The Miami-Philadelphia game. Again, two really good defensive teams that play at slow paces. I don't have a whole lot of interest in this game. I think Embiid is fine if you want to get there anytime he's under 10K. He's a viable option. But I'm not going to go out of my way to get there. Drummond at 9.2. Him and Blake Griffin have missed the last couple of games. Looks like they're going to be good to go for this one. It's a good price, but just one of the worst spots here against Toronto. Marcus Gasol, really solid defender, matched up well. I don't know if I want to go Drummond. Now Jokic at 9.1K, another one where it is a tougher spot, but I have a little bit more interest in him over a guy like Drummond. Jokic has really turned it on lately. 56, 47, 43, 44, 70, 50 fantasy points. So he had a slow start to the season, but he's starting to become more aggressive. He's always a threat for a triple-double. Obviously, again, the matchup, not really the best. Vucevic, a pretty solid defender, but the price tag makes Jokic firmly in play, and I'm going to lean towards Jokic over Drummond. Both are, in similar spots, right? They're both underpriced, but they're both in, bad matchups. Let's see, Siakam at 8.8K. I think he's always a safe option. Looks like Fred VanVleet's going to be out once again. Thing with, him and Lowry again, I talk about it a lot, but we know they're going to play big minutes, like 35 plus in a close game always. So he's always a safe option if you get there. Whiteside at 8.5K, this is a pretty good spot against Golden State. We want to target biggest against Golden State. He's been pretty solid recently. He had a somewhat off game there against Phoenix, but before that, 59, 49, 42 fantasy points. I think he's a solid option. Again, the price is coming up a lot now to 8.5K, where he's not like a slam dunk play anymore. But I think he is a guy you can consider. Now, Porzingis, so we still have no Luka Doncic. So Porzingis has been the main guy in the offense. He's played 40 and 33 minutes in back-to-back games, 51 and 53 fantasy points in those games. So obviously he is the go-to guy now. With Luka out, this is not really the best spot. But another one where I still think, the price is coming up, but I don't know if it's up enough right now for him being, the number one guy. So I do have some interest there in Porzingis, even a tough spot because there's just so much usage to go on with no Luka. Let's see, Bam Adebayo. Kind of the same thing with Embiid, right? If you get to him, that's fine. I just worry about, he's been really good. I just worry about him getting in foul trouble against Embiid. He's been playing huge minutes, 44, 35, 38, 43 minutes. So another one where I don't have an issue if you get there. It's just probably not going to be the way that I go. Again, I'm not going to go out of my way to get Bam in my lineup. Vucevic is 7K. It's a back-to-back here for Orlando, and he's coming off an injury. I'm slightly worried. Hopefully we get some news about whether or not he'll be on a minutes limit. If he's not going to be on a minutes limit, I would have some interest even in a tough spot. So that's another one of those situations we have to monitor going into tomorrow. Kevin Love at 6.8K. In close games, he will get over 30 minutes, right? The Cavs are a team that's been blown out a lot, but this is a game where it could stay close, right? Charlotte, not really the best team. So Love's an okay option here at 6.8K. I don't think he's like a cross-off, but I don't think he's a slam dunk play either. Let's see. Other options. JJJ and Jonas Valanciunas, just very inconsistent up and down. Horford, if you get to him, that's fine. He's a pretty safe option. He's not going to kill you. Probably going to get you 25 to 35 fantasy points. Wendell Carter Jr., the minutes have been really solid for him the last couple games, 36 and 38 minutes, and this is literally, you can't get a better spot here against Washington. So I do have a good amount of interest in Wendell Carter Jr. and in Lauri Markkanen. Both these guys, last couple games, have been playing, mid-30s minutes. Lauri played 40 in the game against the Clippers. And again, this is just a really good spot. We're sitting at a, 230.5 over-under. Two bad teams. Chicago somewhat plays at a slower pace, but Washington just plays at such a fast pace, no defense whatsoever. So these Chicago guys, I think, are a bit underpriced. And again, they're in a really good spot. So I do have interest in Wendell Carter Jr. I do have interest in Lauri Markkanen. I think you can even probably play both together if you really wanted to. Tristan Thompson, I do have some interest in him as well, right? The Cavs, when games stay competitive, he usually gets over 30 minutes. And same thing with Kevin Love. And this is a game where I think we can predict, the game to stay close. And we know the offense runs through both Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love. So, I think both these guys are viable as well. Love at 6.8, Tristan Thompson at 5.9. Even Blake Griffin here. Now, he's been injured with a knee the last couple games. He sat out. This is a really bad spot against Toronto. Toronto, really solid defensive team. But 5.9K for Blake Griffin. That just seems absurd. So, I do have some interest in Blake Griffin. We got to see if he's going to be limited. If there's going to be no minutes limit, I think he's a solid option just because of the price tag, right? Cody Zeller, 5.7K. So he's been starting at the 4. Been playing decent minutes. Had a good game again tonight. Again, I was a little bit concerned about what the minutes were going to be like for him. with Marvin Williams coming back. Marvin Williams still got like 20 minutes. That Cody Zeller got decent minutes. Even Biombo got decent minutes. So, yeah, he's an option only for GPPs, again, just because the price is now up to 5.7K. And I just, again, I know we still got decent minutes tonight, but they do have other guys that can use, right? Maybe he could get in foul trouble too. I mean, they have Biombo, they have Marvin Williams. Even though everyone got decent minutes, you just never really know with the Hornets rotation. It's really inconsistent. So only a GPP option here for Cody Zeller there, 5.7. Markieff Morris obviously can't do it with Blake Griffin back. Let's see. Marc Gasol has, I don't know what happened when I was gone on vacation. He turned into a different guy, right? 39, 47 fantasy points. Like, what has happened to Marc Gasol? He's always a guy that was just super low usage. He's been a shell of his former self this season. They're going to need him out there to guard Drummond, probably about 30 minutes. I think he's okay. I just don't think he keeps up this level of production, right? Like 40 fantasy points. So, again, I'm not going to go out of my way to get him. Christian Wood obviously can't go there with the Pistons bigs coming back. Let's see. Other options. Favors has been limited. I think he'll only played around 20 minutes again tonight. Unless he's off his minutes limit, I just don't think I can go there. Mahimi started at center, played 25 minutes with no Thomas Bryant, no Mo Wagner. Both those guys out once again. So, again, Mahimi not going to play huge minutes, but if he gets 20 to 25, I think he's an okay option at this price. Jeremy Grant has started the last couple games with no Paul Millsap. If Paul Millsap gets ruled out once again, I think Jeremy Grant is a solid cheap option. Another guy that doesn't have huge upside, but at 4.6K, I think he stands out as a decent value play if Millsap is out. Let's see. Other options, Cantor, only for GPP because the minutes are always so up and down on him. Hayes at 4K, don't mind that, right? They're probably going to need him to guard Cat a bit if Cat plays. Favors is limited once again. Hayes is the direct beneficiary there. Gorgie Jang, so obviously he would become probably the best value play of the day if he starts over Towns. If Towns is out, we could also look to, let me go to Minnesota really quick. We could also look to guys like Jordan Bell and Noah Vonleh who would play more minutes. So that's something we have to monitor. Obviously, if Towns gets rolled out, Jang, I assume, would start. He would become a great value play, probably the best value play of the day, and you could still look to Jordan Bell and Vonleh, as value guys as well. Let's see, Noel at 4K. Don't mind him, right? We'll play about 20 minutes. He's, pretty decent when he gets that time, so I think he's an okay option. I think that is basically it. What is Henson's minutes? Yeah, he's not playing enough minutes. Well, he has been decent, but not enough minutes for me to feel confident about targeting him. That is about it. So let's move on to power forward. We're going to talk about Siakam, Porzingis, Brandon Ingram. So I know these Pelicans guys, they just shot terribly. In the first half, I tweeted out, I think they shot 28 of 97? About like 25%. It was combined with the two teams. So they just shot completely awful. The game did go over to overtime, which does worry me slightly. But this is a really good spot. Another good spot against Minnesota. I know they kind of let down in a good spot against the Nets, but another good spot here against Minnesota. The concern is it is a back-to-back. The game did go to overtime, but I still have interest in these Pelicans guys. Ingram at 8K is still someone I am considering. Tobias, this game just in general, not super, super appealing. I think he's a perfectly fine, cash game option, right? Probably not going to hurt you. He's been pretty solid, 41, 50, 40, 31 fantasy points. Him, Al Horford, if you get there, don't hate it. Again, those guys seem pretty safe. Jason Tatum, this is pretty big, is currently just dealing with a sinus infection. We'll see if he's, good to go. They could hold him out. You never know. If they do, obviously, Jaylen Brown gets a huge boost. Even if he plays and it's not going to be limited, I think he's a pretty solid option. At 7.1K, that seems too underpriced right now. So these Boston guys are, somewhat appealing on the slate. Bertans is always a guy you can look to. With no Mo Wagner, no Thomas Bryant, there's just a lot of minutes to go around. He probably gets around 30, maybe a little bit more. No issue if you want to get there at 6.5K. Carmelo's been really good. 2 straight 40-point games. This is a good spot against Golden State that plays very little defense. In close games, he will get 35 minutes. Now, the concern is the blowout here, but I really think Melo is in play in the spot. Gallinari's okay. Those OKC guys, no one ever stands out. I'll talk about Chris Paul, who has been really good, but other than that, they're just like, if you get to them, they're fine. But again, I'm not going to go out of my way to play them. Gordon Hayward would be another guy that would benefit with, if Jason Tatum does miss. So again, that's something we will have to monitor. There's other Orlando pieces in a really tough spot against Denver. Don't have a whole lot of interest. It's kind of Vucevic, and that's it. And we'll see if he's going to be limited or not. Covington. So, if Towns gets ruled out, it would be Teague and Wiggins that would really want to get, and obviously Gorgie Jang. But, you could still consider Covington too. So, again, that would just change the whole entire slate if Towns gets ruled out. I would just load up on the Minnesota guys and then probably run it back with a couple of Pelicans too. OJ Anunoby at 5K. The minutes have been, a bit up and down. He was playing 37-35 in the last couple games, 21-28. Now the game did blow out too against Cleveland. So he's just another one that stands out as, he's okay. Let's see, Marvin Williams, do they have the stat lines in from yet? They don't have them in yet, but he played decent minutes in that game tonight. Let's see. CD Osman at 3.7K, don't hate it. He's probably going to play around 25 minutes. He's a viable, cheap option. I think that is basically it, though. So let's move on to small forward. Again, no Luka Doncic, so there is just so much minutes and usage around this Dallas offense. We'll talk about some secondary pieces here in a second. I already talked about Porzingis. Jimmy Butler, revenge game, 8.9K, seems a bit underpriced. If you want to continue to ride the hot hand, you can. This is a really tough spot. In the same spot early in the year, he kind of busted. I think it's not going to be on here, but he only had like 25 or 30 fantasy points, I think. Ben Simmons, again, this game in general is not super appealing for me. Wiggins at 7.6K in a very up-tempo game here against the Pelicans. Again, availability of Karl-Anthony Towns is up in the air if he misses. Would really like Teague and Wiggins. Those would probably be the two spend-up guys I'd want a lot for the Timberwolves. And then also, again, the cheap guys, Gorgie Jang, some of those bigs. Will Barton, 6.4K, it's just, I think he's underpriced right now. He's been playing great basketball. He fills up the stat sheet. He's getting big minutes too. So I think he's another guy that stands out as a pretty safe option here. And he's just underpriced in my opinion. Norman Powell had a great game the last game against Cleveland. 53 fantasy points in 36 minutes. He's a guy that gets a big boost with no Fred VanVleet. Again, Fred VanVleet is doubtful. Doesn't expect to play in this one. So you can look to Norman Powell if you want to continue to ride if you're a guy that likes riding hot streaks, you can, right? He's been shooting the ball really well, though. 7-11, 10-15, 11-15. Don't think we're going to expect him to continue to shoot like 70%. But, again, if you're a guy that likes riding the hot streak, you can go there. The other Orlando pieces, I'm just really not excited about anyone there. Draymond Green at 5.8K. Only played 26 minutes on the game. Was a blowout there against Sacramento. Another one where, the game against the Knicks, he played 39 minutes. That game did go to overtime. It's just the minutes are all over the place for him. He's a viable option. I think in a close game probably gets close to 30 minutes, so don't mind him there, 5.8. Josh Hart's a guy that gets a boost. No J.J. Redick. He got like over 30 minutes. He's, a value guy you can consider there, 5.3K. Santa Ransky at 5.3. Don't mind him at all here. The minutes are kind of up and down for him, 24, 26, 28, 33, but this is a really good spot here against Washington. So don't mind Santa Ransky there, 5.3. So Hardaway Jr., a secondary piece you can consider. He had a really bad shooting night, and that can happen with Hardaway, right? He's just a very scoring-dependent guy. If his shot's not falling, he will hurt you. Like this game, 1 of 10 fantasy points. But in games where he knocks down his shots, 39, 40 fantasy points. So this Dallas team, I'm not super excited to see on the schedule, especially with no Luka, just because we have to consider these secondary pieces. But the minutes are always all over the place for these guys, and they're very inconsistent. So it makes it tough to target for cash, honestly. But for GPPs, obviously he is, viable. Chris Dunn, don't mind him at all, 5K. 29 and 30 minutes the last couple of games. This is, again, a really good spot against Washington. So I think he's someone that's definitely viable. Josh Richardson, they're limiting his minutes. I know it's a revenge game, but I don't think I can go there until he's off that minutes limit. Kevin Porter Jr. is currently listed as questionable. He's actually been decent the last few games. If he misses, a guy like Jordan Clarkson will probably play more minutes. Maybe he gets to 25 to 30. So I think he would be a direct beneficiary if Kevin Porter Jr. doesn't go. I think I would definitely consider Jordan Clarkson as a value play. So Damian Lee has actually started and played decent minutes last couple games. 26 and 34 minutes. They do. The problem with Golden State is they just have everyone's healthy now. They have so many bodies they can use, and no one's playing huge minutes. But if Damian Lee is going to play 25 to 30 minutes at 3.9K, I think he's a value guy that's definitely in play. I just don't know if we can necessarily trust that to continue, right? The Golden State just has so many guys healthy now. That is basically it. So let's move on to shooting guard. Beal at the top here at 9.5K is a guy that has been a bit up and down this season, but when he's playing well, when he's shooting the ball well, we know he's got 50, even 60 fantasy point upside. And another one, kind of like Siakam and Kyle Lowry, we know he's going to play the big minutes. We know he's going to play 35 plus in a close game. So that's always, somewhat of safety blanket kind of. We know he's not going to get shafted minutes wise. So he's a spend up that I think goes a bit lower owned, but is definitely in play here. Zach LaVine, I like a good amount at 8.1. Another one of those guys, him, Markkanen, Wendell Carter Jr. I do have a good amount of interest in them. Even Satoransky and Dunn. I have interest in all the starting five here for Chicago. 35, 36, 34 minutes for LaVine. Another guy that, when he's playing well, when he's shooting the ball well, he has that upside. The issue with him is he's been a little bit scoring dependent of late, but in such a good spot, I'm definitely considering him here or there at that price. Drew Holiday, honestly wouldn't mind going back to the well. Him and Ingram had, kind of a disappointing game in a very good spot against the Nets, but this is another really, really good spot, and again, I wouldn't mind going right back to the well there. So we'll see. The back-to-back does worry me a little bit, and the game went into overtime, but Drew and Ingram have been playing big minutes no matter what. So we'll see if they limit him a bit, but I still have interest there. D'Angelo Russell at 7.8K. If this game's going to stay close, he's probably going to have a big game. In close games, he has gotten over 30 minutes. That game against Sacramento did blow out. But previous to that, 30, 36, 34 minutes. We know the upside's there. So he's someone that's definitely in play at 7.8K. Just because, again, we know the upside is pretty big with him. CJ McCollum at 6.9K is an interesting play. He is, I think I'm spot on with once every 5 games he has the big game, right? If we just look at his stats or his fantasy points, 50, then it was about 5 games, 55, and then before that he had a 60-pointer here right below that. It literally seems like once every 5 games CJ will have that big upside game. So if that streak continues, he's probably not going to have an upside game for a little bit. But again, this is a really good spot. Again, we know with him also he's going to play the big minutes. So no issue if you want to go to CJ. The concern is, somewhat of there is some blowout risk, but he's definitely viable at that price. Derrick Rose with Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond back and the price elevated in a tough spot, I'm going to fade. And Fred VanVleet looks like he's going to be doubtful, so Norman Powell gets the biggest minutes bump there. Jamal Murray at this price, I think, stands out as a decent play. 28, 33, 33 minutes. He's been a bit, not the best recently, but at 6.2K, he's a guy that will get over 30 minutes in a close game, and I think he stands out as a safe option there with a little bit of upside. SGA and Schroeder, don't mind him. If you get to them, that's fine. I'll talk about Chris Paul, who's been really good here. But yeah, those two don't have an issue if you want to go there. Let's see, Rozier at 6K is this does stand out. This price in close games, he will get over 30 or about 35 minutes. Him and Devontae Graham, and yeah, Cleveland not very good defensively. So I do have some interest there in Rozier at 6K. Brunson, another one of those secondary pieces that's very much in play here for Dallas. 34 and 32 minutes in the games without Luka. He's been really good filling up the stat sheet right. 13, 11, and 4, 18, 8, and 7. So he's someone that is definitely viable. I think he'll be somewhat popular. The concern is with Dallas is they just run such inconsistent rotations. Even with Luka out, they just have a lot of guys they can use, like Seth Curry, who's been very up and down. They have DeLon Wright. They even have J.J. Barea. They just have a lot of guys they can use. So that is a concern. But he has played 34 and 32 last couple games. So, yeah, I think he's another one of those secondary pieces that's very much in play. You just don't necessarily know what the minutes are going to be like for him. The other Detroit guys, I loaded up on them a couple days ago. I was actually on the plane ride back, had a pretty solid day. Got second in GPP, just loaded up on the Detroit guys. But, yeah, with Drummond and Blake back, I will not be considering them. Alec Burks at 5.4K is viable, but again, they have a lot of bodies now. Now the game did blow out, so they only played 22 minutes. If they get a close game, maybe he gets close to 30. So yeah, he's in play, but the concern with him is there's just a lot of healthy guys now for Golden State. Let's see. Hero, none. Are okay options. Again, it's a tough spot there. Seth Curry, so these are guys we have to consider, right? But the minutes are all over the place. 17, 34, 19, 26, 12, 50, 9, 38 fantasy points. So you see why I hate Dallas on these on the main slates. Just because these secondary pieces are so up and down, whether it be Seth Curry, Hardaway. Brunson's been a bit consistent the last couple games, but before that his minutes were down. It's so hard to try and break down. So these Dallas guys are all in play for GPPs. I just don't know if I can trust them for cash games. I think at least one of those guys is going to have a pretty big game, but trying to decipher which ones have the good shooting night is it's always tough. DeLon Wright, another one that's in play. Only played 19 minutes the last game, but had 30 fantasy points. Right? So it's like, what do you do with these secondary Dallas pieces? That's the big question mark on the slate. I think if you can nail down, the one or two Dallas guys that do really good, you're going to have a cashing night for sure. But it's just a bit hard to, again, try to break that down. Kobe White at 4.1K, the minutes been down on him, right? But we know if he's playing well, they will extend him. So he's a guy you can consider for GPP only. I think that's really it, though. So let's move on to point guard today. And Lillard at 9K is, a viable option. Him and CJ, again, we know we'll get over 35 minutes in a close game. The concern is the blowout in this one. Also, his usage just hasn't been the same this year, right? He's got, Melo has been eating up a lot of usage. He's got Whiteside who's been decent. So he's not the guy that's going to be shooting the ball like a crazy amount every game. But at this price, in a good spot, right? D'Angelo Russell, not a good defender. Whoever else they try to throw on him. Golden State just doesn't have a whole lot of great defenders. So I think he's a viable play there at 9K. Sorry about that. Let's see. Devontae Graham at 7.9K. Him and Rozier. Again, the good thing with them is we know they will get the big minutes in a close game. Cleveland, not very good defensively. So I think he's very much in play. Now, I'm going to slightly prefer Rozier on the same team for like 2K less. But Graham has, had more upside recently. So if you have the extra money and want to go there, no issue. Again, the Pelicans guys, I wouldn't mind going right back to the well there. The concern is it is a back-to-back. Kyle Lowry at 7.7. Now he's priced about right. Like I liked him in that 6.8 to low 7K range. Of course, he had the two off games and back-to-back pretty solid games when I didn't play him. But yeah, I don't think he stands out at that price. Chris Paul, so he's been turning it on lately, right? 30, 35, 34, 36 minutes. 37, 41, 43, 60 fantasy points. Yeah, this is a up-tempo game against Memphis. Ja Morant, whoever Memphis tries to throw on Chris Paul, not very. They don't have a whole lot of good defenders as well. So Chris Paul is actually in play. Now I know the price is up, so we'll see. I think he will be somewhat popular, but I think he's very much in play at 7.5K. Ja Morant, even on the other side at 7.2K, won't play as many minutes, but I think it's over 30 in a close game. I think he's viable at that price. Again, I talked about liking Will Barton a good amount, Jamal Murray as well. SGA and Schroeder, again, if you get there, I don't mind it. I'm just not going to go out of my way to play them. I think I would just prefer riding the hot hand for a little bit more of Chris Paul. Jeff Teague. So I really like him at this price of 5.8K. He's played 36 and 33 minutes back-to-back games, 52 and 36 fantasy points, especially if Towns gets ruled out. I just think you play Teague, you play Wiggins, you play Gorgie Jang, maybe one or two more pieces, honestly. Just load up on these Minnesota guys if Towns gets ruled out. Even if Towns plays, I think Teague is very viable just because, again, the minutes, 36, 33 minutes. This is a very up-tempo game against the Pelicans, so I would still like him if Cat gets ruled out. If Cat plays, if Cat gets ruled out, I will definitely be playing him as well as Wiggins. Lonzo Ball, 5.4K. Him and Josh Hart get the biggest minutes bump with no JJ Redick. Both got over 30 tonight. Wouldn't mind looking their way either. Isaiah Thomas, his first game back, 26 minutes, 36 fantasy points. Now, he's not going to play huge minutes. Again, I think they're probably still going to ease him back a little bit, but I think he's in play for GPPs here at this price. I think that is about it, though. Yeah, so again, brief overview of the slate. The Dallas guys, I think, are key, right? If you nail the one or two guys that have a really good game, you're probably going to have a great night. It's just those secondary pieces are very inconsistent, whether it be Hardaway, Brunson, Seth Curry, DeLon Wright. They have a lot of guys. We'll talk about the whole Dallas guys actually really quick. So Porzingis obviously the safest option, but he's the most expensive. Then you got Brunson, Hardaway Jr., Seth Curry, Dorian Finney-Smith has been playing big minutes, but he's a lower usage guy. At 4.5K, I just think he's okay, right? DeLon Wright, very up and down. Powell and Kleber, don't know if I want to go there. JJ Barea didn't even play last game. So it's just like, it's tough to decipher. I think one of these, like whether it be Brunson, Hardaway Jr., Seth Curry, DeLon Wright, Dorian Finney-Smith, I think one or two will probably have a pretty big game, but it's just really hard to try and nail down who it's going to be. As far as game stacks go, for my favorite game stack, I do like the Pelicans, Timberwolves game a lot. I think Charlotte-Cleveland's even interesting. A lot of guys really cheap, right? Love and Tristan Thompson are the most expensive guys on the Cleveland side. On the Charlotte side, it's Devontae Graham and Rozier. So you can definitely make a viable game stack in that one. Miami-Philly should be fun to watch, not necessarily for DFS purposes. I do have some interest there in Chicago-Washington as well. But yeah, that's kind of just a brief overview of the slate. And I think that is going to do it for this video. So thanks again for coming to check out the video, guys. I really do appreciate it. I will be live streaming 45 minutes before lock on my YouTube channel, so be sure to check out the live stream. It's also important to follow me on Twitter. That will be in the description below. I'll give my thoughts as we get news throughout the day tomorrow. But yeah, again, thanks again, guys, and I will see you tomorrow in the live stream.